Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rent Prep for Landlords. This is episode number 257. I'm your host, Eric Worrell with rentprep.com. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing some of the best tenant excuses for late rent. I think this will just be kind of a fun, lighthearted episode. I've came across a post online that had some really good excuses, and I thought you guys might get a good kick out of it. It'll be a short episode today, and then we'll get back to in the news stories next week. But let's get to this right after this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Rent Prep for Landlords podcast. And now your hosts, Stephen White and Eric Worrell.
So I was researching recent news stories that you guys might find interesting for this episode, and I wasn't coming across anything really great, nothing that was really striking me. So I went to go to Facebook to see if there's anything in our Facebook group at Rent Prep for Landlords. But before I got there, I saw a post in my news feed that was from a Facebook page called Property Management Memes. I know it's a few property managers that kind of run this particular Facebook page, but they have this post kind of going viral, at least in the property manager space. It's only a couple hours old and already has like 70 shares and 500 comments. And the post is a picture of Steve Harvey from Family Feud. And then underneath it, they just made it into a meme, and it says, name an excuse residents will use to pay rent late. So all these people just chiming in with their stories of some of the best excuses they've gotten. I guess you could call them worse excuses on why the rent was late. So let me see. Let me go through a few of these and we'll read them. And then maybe you guys can give your opinion on the best excuses. So one of these was somebody actually took a picture and they wrote down all the excuses from one tenant. She said that she had someone pay late so often that they started writing them down. Excuse the messy writing. She only lived there 16 months. There are 24 excuses. So she said funds are not free, out of town, family emergency, stuck at work, medical expenses for mother-in-law in the hospital, missed the flight, infusion and med center, flight home canceled, attending a memorial service, phone was stolen, has the flu, difficult to purchase without a debit card, caregiver was supposed to drop off money, can't find her husband, withdraw. All right, so that's just one. I can't, go too far down that rabbit hole because we don't want to give away every single late rent excuse on one post. Some of these are pretty funny though. Let me see. This was one of my favorite ones that I read on here from somebody named Tracy. She said that just last month I'm late because of daylight savings time and I forgot to change my clocks. Now I could see how you'd be an hour late on that one, but a whole day or a week late, that'd be concerning if that was throwing you off. Could you imagine if daylight savings time threw you off for entire days at a time? That would be a really rough go of things in the spring and fall. The other one says, had problems paying online. I don't like night drops and I work. This one says, I moved in on the 15th, so that's the day my rent is due. That's what the previous manager told me, and it's in my lease. With one of those crying emoji faces. I don't know if you guys have any problems with people moving in on the 15th or prorating rent. It is important to communicate that clearly to them when rent is due so they don't get confused on that. Some of these I kind of read and I think, well, did somebody actually communicate it well to the tenant, or are we just kind of instantly blaming the tenant? I had to make sure my kids had a nice Easter. It's a nice thing to say, right? But still got to pay the rent. I spent too much on Amazon. Can I sign a 3-day hold off? And oh yeah, I need to pick up the packages that were just delivered. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. It was either my apartment bill or my car note. Well, I had to choose. Even though you don't know what the person sounds like who gave the excuse, I like filling it in, well, I had to choose. It's like it's so obvious. This one's, kind of a story with a twist, a true story. It says that I was stressed because I thought I found a lump in my breast. So I went to the doctor and they said everything was fine. So, I had to go out and celebrate. Now I don't have enough for rent and I don't get paid till next week. So I'll pay you then. Can you waive late fees? I mean, I nearly died. That last sentence is what got me. They nearly died. That's funny. All right. Let's see. There's some other gems in here. We got like 500 comments. I'm just trying to read some of the better ones here for you. This one says, my bank account got hacked for the 4th time this month. Well, that sounds like you got a pretty severe problem. You might want to change your passwords. Ashley wrote, it was paid on time. I put it in Dropbox. I go and check, and it's even dated late. Nice try, people. Yeah. I guess if you're going to, pay late, you should probably try and put the right date on there so you don't get caught. This one's pretty simple. Somebody said, I didn't know my rent amount. That would be concerning as well. I like the honesty of this one that Elizabeth shared. She said that it said, the tenant said, I spent my money at the casino. I like that. That's pretty, it's pretty straight up. They know that's not a great excuse, but going with it anyways, going with the honest approach. Megan, you got 25 likes on this one. I'm assuming it's good. I haven't read it yet. It says, I wasn't even in the apartment all month, was on vacation. So I see this one pop up in the Rent Prep Facebook group from time to time. People saying that they have a tenant who's like either on vacation or maybe they're in the hospital for a little bit or they're visiting somebody and they don't want to pay rent for the time that they were on vacation. So I suppose it doesn't hurt to ask, you do hear that kind of saying thrown around sometimes, but I think in the case of asking your landlord that, it probably would hurt because they're going to start kind of painting a picture of who you are if you're trying to get out of like a week of rent because you were on vacation. Luckily, I haven't encountered that with any tenants because I'm sure I'd probably let out an audible laugh if they asked about that. All right, let's scroll down a little bit further here, see what we got here. I'm kind of just looking to see which ones got the most likes. Let the social proof do the research for me here. Let's see. We got one here. It said, my AC went out 2 weeks ago. Did you submit a maintenance request? We don't have one on file. No, but I'm not paying it because I was out for 2 weeks and I had to stay at a friend's. I said this happened to them about a year ago. I've seen this one pop up too, where like tenants get upset that something isn't fixed, but they actually never submit a maintenance request for it. That's kind of a common issue that comes up quite a bit. The only thing you really do with that one is really try and set the stage in the beginning on like communication and making sure that they feel comfortable making a request or making sure that they feel comfortable letting you know that, hey, there's a leak or, there's this or that going on. I've had this issue with tenants before, and I find that I need to go out of my way to tell them, hey, if there's something wrong, let me know. I haven't had it bite me in the butt yet. I'm sure you can get a really picky tenant who all of a sudden starts going a little crazy, but I'd rather have somebody, nitpicking than somebody who's letting a leak just kind of ruin an entire apartment or something like that because they didn't want to say something. So there's two sides to that coin. This one says from Natasha, my cat needed to be cremated, especially since she wasn't allowed pets. That's it's a weird sentence, but I see what she's getting at there is that she's not allowed to have a pet, so why is a pet being cremated? But that one's kind of morbid. There's a few morbid ones in here. Let's see. There's your website wasn't working, yet none of my other 300 residents had an issue. Of course, you can imagine the emoji that went with that. The eye roll one. So here's another one that I think you guys will like. It said, I didn't receive an invoice. Oh, that'd be a good one. That'd be another one that'd be hard not to laugh at if you got that. Joshua wrote one in here. It said, my car got towed because I parked in a fire lane for an hour, so I had to have my car to go to work. So there's a little bit to unpack there. I'm assuming somebody couldn't get to work and then couldn't make money because they parked in a fire lane or in front of a fire hydrant. So yeah. This one from Alicia said, I didn't get a paycheck. I asked why. And they said, I went to the beach on a vacation for 2 weeks, so I didn't get a check. Can you reduce my rent for that? That's so funny. Courtney, what does she write here? Said, I make plenty of money and I can afford to live here. It's just my pay is weird. That's one of those ones. There's a comedian I listen to. His name's Lewis Black. He's a little bit out there, but he says a lot of strange things. But he says that once in a while something is said and it goes in your ear, and then you can't get it out of your head, and that's how these aneurysms start. I mean, he's making a joke of it, but he said he was standing in line somewhere, and somebody said, "If it wasn't for my horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college." And that's kind of what Lewis Black sounds like. So he's like, and then I'm going home and I'm saying, what do you mean if it wasn't for my horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college? And you can't figure out what it means. I feel like that was like Courtney's one right here. I make plenty of money and I can afford to live here. It's just my pay is weird. Yeah. It's a tough one to figure out. Let's see what else we got here. Why are you charging a late fee? I told you I was going to be late ahead of time. Well, that's one that's going to probably boil some blood there for some people. The worst one I ever heard, no lie, this person said, oh, I'm not reading that. Never mind. Oh, yeah, we don't want to have to edit that one out. This one said, not this time of year, but I'm waiting for my tax return is a longtime favorite of mine. So this one's pretty good. Nick here said that they got robbed. They told us it happened by her car, had time and date, but they didn't realize they had a camera there and still tried to say it was true. So somebody claiming they got robbed in the parking lot of the apartment complex. And there was a camera on that car and there was no robbery. So that'd be a tough one to convince somebody of if, you're not on video for it. What else we got here? We'll do a couple more and we'll wrap things up. But I don't get paid until this weekend. Oh, come on. That's not that interesting. That's just the classic. That's like the go-to, My paycheck's not coming in until XYZ. Give me a few days. This one, this came from Ashley. It says there are only 30 days in this month, so that means we have until the 4th to pay, right? Yeah. That one, again, is... I can't figure that one out. That's another one that goes in your ear and you're trying to make sense of it and you can't, and then you just get sad and you start curling up in a ball and wondering what's happening in the world. So, yeah. This last one, I'm going to give it a like. Nobody liked it. Somebody's got to give it some love. It said, I gave someone my debit card who I thought I could trust. Yeah. Don't give people your debit card. That's a bad idea. You know what? Don't give them your credit card either. Don't give them your social security number. Don't give them your driver's license. Don't give them your car. Don't give them your house keys. I would suggest to keep those things to yourself. That's going to be the little nugget of wisdom we're going to leave you with today. Don't give people your debit card. It's a bad idea. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you want to check it out, you can go over to the property management. Let me make sure I get this right. I've got to scroll up quite a ways here. Property management memes on Facebook. They got some funny stuff that comes through once in a while. So you guys can check that out. But if you got any funny stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out to my email, eric@rentprep.com, or share them in the Facebook group as far as some of your best rent excuses. All right, guys. Have a great week, and look forward to catching up with you guys next week. All right, take care.